I am so excited. I'm back with some truth bombs about what it takes to succeed on YouTube. I hear other people, well, you got to have chapters and your file name needs to match and all this stuff. 27 things you got to do after you post the video. You know what? All of that might be true, but let me tell you, that's the cherry on top. That's the few little things that you can do to help boost your videos, but it's not the main thing. There's three main things that are required for succeeding on YouTube. And I don't care who you are. These things all apply, okay? Three things. Spoiler alert, I'm just going to tell you all three things right now. Here they are. Number one, get people to click on your video. Number two, get them to watch your video, preferably for as long as possible, because if they just watch it for like 5 seconds, that isn't going to do any good. But you want to get them to watch as long as possible, and you want to get them to return. Or if you're a business owner, I like to say, get them to take action, because if you're using YouTube to promote your business, then you're going to want them to take some kind of action. That could be call you, schedule an appointment, download something, go to a website, buy something, whatever it is. If you are using this platform, YouTube, to promote your business, you're going to want them to take action. So getting them to return or take action, they're kind of the same thing, because returning is an action. But the reason is you want to keep people engaged. If you're a content creator, you want them to be watching more of your content. So the next time that your video comes up in their home screen, they're like, oh, you got a new video out, I need to watch it. Or if you're a business owner, you want to be able to drive leads, sales, all that good stuff. Now, you know the formula: click, watch, return, or click, watch, action, whichever applies to you. But Shay, how do we do that? Well, that's the question. And that is the thing, that it takes time and it takes effort and it takes techniques in order to get good at it. Let's just talk about the first thing, which is getting them to click. Now, I could go into a bunch of stuff about what it takes to get them to click, but I'm just going to talk about the two most important things. In fact, I'm going to tell you the number one most important thing when we talk about getting people to click is the title. And the reason why I say that and why I believe that is because the title addresses two things. It addresses SEO, which is going to be alerting the algorithm. When the algorithm wants to pull content on a certain topic, it's got to know what your video is about. Yes, there are multiple ways to alert the algorithm as to what your video is about, but the most important one is going to be the title. It's also the thing that, as a user, when I am looking at videos on YouTube as a user, it's the thing that's going to entice me, inspire me, or get me to take action, to click, right? It doesn't matter how good your video is. Truth bomb, if nobody clicks on it, they're not going to know how good it is. You might have the best time-saving tip or money-saving tip or mind-blowing idea or information in your video, but if nobody clicks on it, then nobody's going to see it. If nobody clicks on your video, the algorithm is going to move on. People who work at YouTube have said the algorithm doesn't really push content out. It pulls content. So in order to pull content, it has to know what your video is about. So let me give you an example. Now, this came from a friend, and I love you, friend. If you're like, oh, that's my video, then I'm sorry. I'm going to give you a little bit of tough love here, because I want you to succeed on YouTube. I want you to win with this strategy. So here's the deal. Here was the title of the video, November 20th, 2024. Okay. Unless something major happened in the world or in the country on November 20th, 2024, which I can't recall off the top of my head that being a date that was really significant in history, then it's probably not something that people are searching for. And it tells me nothing of what the video's about. I don't have any idea what the video is about, so why would I click on it? There are more eyes on YouTube than ever before in our history. the number of users and the play that YouTube is getting is not good enough anymore just to have a video, throw it up there, and not give any thought to the title or the thumbnail, which we're going to talk about next. I want to bring up another one that I saw again from a friend who I love. This one said property zones and loans. Okay, well, that gives the algorithm a little bit something to think about. So maybe it could pull content if somebody was searching that, but it's still really vague. It doesn't inspire me to click. Why do I need to know that information? And why am I searching that? So, here's one. It's a little bit better, but it's still a little bit vague. Buy your retirement home now. Okay, better, definitely better. We know it's about buying a retirement home. So that, again, would alert the algorithm to what it's about. But now, if it serves it up to people who are interested in buying a retirement home, why, if I have like 10 videos that I can choose from on buying a retirement home, why would I click on that particular title? I like the word now because that is sort of urgency, but why, right? Like, we're really close with that one, but we need to entice the viewer a little bit more before we get the click. So one thing I like to think of is like problem solution. Problem solution. People, I'm sorry, trip them. They just gravitate towards the negative. That's what they do. That's what people do. So if we knew what the problem was, then the content of the video can provide the solution. Okay, so I hope something there is clicking with you. Let's move on to thumbnail. Now, thumbnail trends are always changing. In the not too distant past, where thumbnails were getting like works of art, and I love that because I'm also an artist and I love making thumbnail, and I love to make all these, cool graphics, and now they've got all these AI graphics. I'll make the thumbnail for you. That might be working on a few channels still, but I will let you know that the trend is going back to a much simpler, much more realistic thumbnail. In the beginning, when I started doing YouTube back in 2014, we didn't do thumbnails. You just throw the video up there. YouTube chose the frame and you just lived with it. And that's just the way it goes. There's kind of a trend that's going back to that a little bit more. I think what makes a great thumbnail is, something that follows the trends, but also is still enticing the viewer. So if you're going to put text, try to put as little text on the thumbnail as possible. Okay. So I think of it like the 3-word rule. Okay. How close can you get to 3 words? Something that does not state exactly what the title is, but that would entice them. Maybe if it's about mistakes home buyers make, maybe it's like buyer beware, or something to that effect where it works together and it entices the viewer like, oh, I need to watch this because it's something I'm interested in. So if you're not doing YouTube because you think you have to have these super fancy thumbnails, you don't, but you should give thought to your thumbnail. Should definitely give thought to your thumbnail. Somebody asked me recently how to create a thumbnail. There's like a million ways to create a thumbnail, but an easy one that most people do is Canva. That's fine. Canva is fine. But again, make it simple and enticing to the audience in order to get that click. Okay, the next thing, getting people to watch. This is going to have everything to do with your content. You want to provide content of value. Are people getting something out of the content and the things that you are saying? So that is really the key. Getting them to watch is not necessarily about the production value. You can have a poorly produced video. If it has great content, it will perform at a very high level. So, I think the biggest thing with videos in terms of quality is just having good lighting. If it's too dark, it's hard to see. That might cause somebody to click out of your video. But if your editing isn't super polished, or you're not doing a lot of graphics and titles and B-roll and all that kind of stuff, it's okay, because while that was a trend for a while, really YouTube has moved away from that and are looking at more simple edits. For the most part, remember, there's always exceptions to every rule. So if you are thinking of putting in a little hater comment, keep that in mind. So the last one, hopefully you're still with me, is getting them to return or take action. Okay, getting them to return. That is simple. Just keep producing great content of value, and that will get them to return. And I would also say producing content consistently. And I got to be honest, this is the one that I struggle with the most. I have a very busy life. I have twin boys. I have, all kinds of things going on. I'm helping other people with their channel. I got a coaching program. I'm managing several other channels myself. And so I'm very busy. It's very difficult for me to produce my own content. And so I get it. I get it. It is difficult. It's not easy, but you just do the best you can. I don't want you to stop or not go forward because you cannot be consistent all the time. Sometimes you got to take breaks. That's okay. Just get back at it. The more consistent you can be, the better off that you will be, and just do the best you can. Okay, getting them to take action. If you want people to take action, you got to tell them. So you got to say it in the video. If you've got a free download, you got to say it in the video. Get my free download. You got to say it in the description. Get my free download code in the comments. Get my free download in the about section. Here's where you get the free download. You got to make sure that you get the information out on the action that you want them to take. Or if you're trying to get leads, perhaps you're directing them to a website, or you want them to schedule a call, or you want them to call you. Make sure your phone number is everywhere. Okay, it should be in the description of every video. It should be on the about section. It should be in all these places. Or you're saying it in the video, all of these things together so that they know what is the action that you want them to take so that you can get the leads. All right, I hope that is helpful. Please take action and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I truly do have a passion for helping people succeed in marketing and win on YouTube.